Why don't you make your meal in the other kitchen? My God, get out. Hello YouTube, what's up? Welcome to my channel. It has been a hot minute. For those of you who don't know, we went to Austin, Texas, and we did a retreat with how many of our clients, babe?
32.
32 of our clients. I think we had 8 of our employees there, and it was so amazing. There were so many tears. God showed up in such massive ways. Walls in our hearts came down between the women in the community. There were also physical healings that happened for women that we didn't even pray for physical healing for. Like 15-year injuries were healed. It just was crazy good. And then from there, Spence and I went on our first vacation, first non-working vacation that we've been on since our honeymoon. So it's been 3.5 years since we've had a non-working vacation. We were supposed to go to Italy, which was a difficult trip to try to make happen in today's times. And instead we went to Costa Rica because it just made more sense. It was easier to get to. So we took a little break and vacation, and it was much needed. We're feeling very refreshed, and I'm really excited to be back with you guys. Today I wanted to talk about navigating through a difficult confrontation with someone you love. Navigating through confrontation is not easy, and typically when we're in a confrontation or a conversation or an argument and we're processing through something that's hard, most of the time we're triggered. So our amygdala gets hijacked, which means we are not functioning in our adult logical brain that's able to process information and use logic and reason and rationalize through information. You actually get triggered back to a younger version of you that is a lot less mature and emotionally stable than you are currently. Some people live in a constantly triggered state too. So some of us just doing normal everyday life are constantly triggered and we don't even know it. So some of you might not be able to have effective confrontations or conversations on a daily basis. I'm going to give you a few practical tools. My hope is to keep this video pretty short and congruent, but I want to give you a few practical tools on how to deal with pain in conversation, communication, and confrontation. It is always easier said than done. I still get triggered, obviously. I still have pain. I still don't do things perfectly. Some days, Spence and I have confrontations that go amazing and wonderful, and we're really tender and compassionate with each other, and we can get to the root of things and get to connection really quickly. And other days it's not so easy. It's always easier said than done, but here are a few basics that you could always count on. The first thing is that both parties, both individuals in a conversation or confrontation, both parties have very valid feelings and experiences. It does not matter if their feelings or experiences make sense to you. It doesn't matter if it's logical. It really doesn't matter what the factors are, because everyone's experience is always valid. Everyone's pain is always valid. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, if you invalidate someone else's pain or experience, if you deny their pain or their experience, it will only create more pain and more disconnection. So one thing to recognize is like, okay, my feelings matter, but yours matter too. As much as I want to make this about my pain, or for some of you who have the other side of the pendulum, maybe you only want to validate your partner's pain and you want to shove your own. It's really important to find this middle ground where you can acknowledge and live out your feelings matter, but mine do too. So we're going to make equal space for both of us to have feelings, to express, and to get to have a voice. From there, that actually practically walked out looks like making a space and a point to hear out that person's pain, to hear out how that person was affected. It doesn't mean you have to receive like the brunt of them blaming you or them shaming you. It looks like you listening to their feelings. And then on the other hand, it looks like you making space for you to share, for you to process, and for you to be able to have feelings. A really effective way, though it is difficult, to have good confrontations is to start out by validating that other person's experience. You typically have to be the big one, at least for a moment, if you're going to create this dynamic in a relationship, but it will typically lead to more connection. So that could look like saying like, hey, I want to hear about what your pain is, what you're going through, what your experience was. And it looks like sitting and listening, not defending, not denying, not rejecting, not checking out of their experience. It looks like just sitting there and listening and acknowledging. Another really amazing thing to do is look at what would it feel like to be in their shoes. The in your shoes is a really good practical way to actually enter into validation. So how would I feel if I was experiencing something like that? And you could even repeat back to them, oh yeah, if I were in your situation, I would feel this way. Or I could imagine in your situation, it probably feels painful because of this. That makes a lot of sense. I'm so sorry that that was your experience. And that's it. A lot of the time when someone shares pain, especially if it's regarding you or if it's regarding us as we're hearing it, our automatic response is to defend or to deny or to reject or to shut it down because it's too painful to hear their reality. But it's really important to actually create a space where you can just say, hey, I might not, you don't have to verbalize this, but I might not have done that, or that might not have been my intention, but I'm gonna sit here and listen to your pain regardless. From there, after you have validated them and listened to their pain and said, I can imagine that that'd be really painful for you. I'd love to share about why this is hard for me. From there, like you share about your pain and your feelings and your experience. It's really important to stay away from blame in these moments. Blame can sound like, and then you did this. And then this was your fault, or you made me feel this way. Any kind of blame and accusation is an immediate disconnect into connection, fighting for relationship, getting to the point where there's a bridge where you guys can both see and understand each other. Anytime you enter into blame or accusation, you're actually choosing into disconnect. I'm learning this all of the time because apparently I have blame that comes out in subtle ways that I'm not aware of. And so I myself am really honing in my marriage about what it looks like to not have any kind of blame language and only share pain with vulnerability, only share my experience of something and how it affected me. After you've taken time to both just sit and hear and listen to each other and validate each other's experience, you could each ask, what do you need from me to feel safe again? Or what do you need from me to feel connected again? And that might look like you sharing, like, I would love to hear you take ownership, or you just apologizing for how you affected me, even though you didn't mean to, would feel really helpful for me. But in order to do this, you need to be connected to yourself and your heart to know what you need. So you might need to take a minute and figure out, like, what do I need? What would feel really good? There are some moments for me in marriage where Spence will love me and validate me and do all the things the best he knows how to do, but sometimes because I felt bitter the first time he apologized, I just need to hear him say that I'm sorry for causing you pain. Even if he didn't mean to, even if it wasn't his intention. If he's just like, I'm so sorry I hurt your heart. Sometimes I ask him to ask me again because it helps me actually be present and say, I forgive you. It helps me release my own bitterness sometimes. That's not his responsibility to do that, but in a moment when he's asking me what I need, sometimes because I'm connected to my heart, I'm like, that is what I need. That would really help me. And so get connected to your heart. Let your partner, let your friend, let your spouse know what you need in that moment in order to restore and bridge connection again. This is a really practical way that Spence and I work through confrontation quickly. Share pain, we're honest, we stay away from blame, we validate each other's pain, each other's experience. We make time and space to listen to each other, and we put ourselves in each other's shoes, and then we figure out, like, what can I do on my side to be a part of restoring trust and connection again? What can I do to make you feel safe again? We each do that with each other, and we make sure that there's an equal balance of responsibility that's happening. We don't just expect one person to do all of the work for the other person. And if that's happening in a relationship, we'll communicate, hey, it feels like I'm doing all the work right now. Hey, I'm trying really hard to hear you and validate you, but I don't feel like you're reaching for me the same way. We have conversations like that all of the time. Hey, I'm actually hurting because I did everything I could to create a safe space for you, and it doesn't feel like you're putting in that same effort. You know, I feel like I really need you to reach. And so there 2 days ago, I just had to apologize. I'm sorry, you're right, I didn't reach. I was triggered. I couldn't find words. I felt really frustrated. And so I didn't reach, and I'm sorry that that was painful for you. But I love you, and I want to reach now. What can I do to show you that I'm reaching for you? So those are a few of the things that we do to resolve confrontation quickly and to find connection in the midst of disconnection. So I hope that that was helpful for you. This is what we love. In our Come Alive course, we really focus on healing and getting aware and getting connected to our hearts and learning what's going on inside of us, why, where it came from. Because once you understand those things, it helps you thrive in relationship. It helps you express those things to your partner. It helps you break down those walls, understand where your pain comes from, let your partner into those places in your heart, invite God into those places of your heart so that your partner isn't your world, so that you could actually be getting your needs met with God in a really practical way, so that you're full, so that you can overflow onto the people around you, so that you can love your kids better, your husband better, your boyfriend better, your friends better. And that's what we care about, is loving well. And so if you want more of this, if you're someone who's like, I really want to be more aware, I want to learn how to do this, I want to do relationship well, I want to thrive in life, I've been in survival mode and I don't know how to come out of it, click the link below in the description, watch our free workshop. I hope it blesses you. From there, it'll give you the option to look into our courses. But for now, if you could subscribe to my channel, throw me a comment, let me know how it was for you, and share it with a friend. It'd be so helpful for our channel. But I love you all. Thank you for watching.